Welcome to the Boomers, Bucks, and Bling podcast, where we turn retirement planning into a bit of a thrill ride. I'm your host, Carl Spiteri, and each week we'll dive into everything from reverse mortgages and staying put in style to Medicare, Social Security, and home safety. But wait, there's more. We're not just going to talk all about money and business. We're going to add some sparkle, some bling, as we chat with travel pros, party planners, and a lot of different topics that's going to help you make the most of your golden years. So grab a cup of tea or whatever it is you want to drink, get comfy, and let's make retirement planning an adventure of a lifetime. Welcome to this edition of Boomers, Bucks, and Bling. We are privileged to have Mark Alexander-Warne come back and join us. He gave us a really good segment on sleep. And we're going to talk about exercise and alcohol and caffeine and a couple different things like that. So welcome back, Mark, and thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Okay, it's really nice to be here. Thank you, Carl.
Wow. Last time I barely had to ask you a question and you just went off talking, and you're such an expert at this stuff. Tell us a little bit about exercise and why seniors need to exercise. And we're all baby boomers, and it's not getting any easier to get out and do things. So tell us a little bit about why we should and what we can do.
Well, especially after 60, you tend to lose muscle mass, and that has incredible implications for your independence, your mobility, your balance. Balance is also where I think it's 1 out of 3 people over 65 have a fall once a year, like a pretty severe fall. And if you break your femur, that's a really big indication, your big muscle in your leg that goes up to your hip. That's a big indication of your independence, your longevity, and sometimes people just don't recover from that. So keeping your muscle mass is a really important thing, and it tends to really deteriorate with age. But the good news is you can gain muscle mass by just gradually, and I really stress gradually. A lot of people that haven't exercised go way into it too soon, and that's why maybe having an older personal trainer like me is a good idea, because
Yeah.
I know what an older body, how the older body responds or doesn't respond to different things. But exercise is really important. And as a segue back to our sleep talk, exercise, a good workout will really help you sleep at night.
So describe a good workout for somebody, say, I don't know, 65, 70 years old. What does that entail? That maybe has gradually done things, but what's a good workout?
Yeah, you need a variety of different things. You need to have strength, so you need to do something that is some kind of resistance training where it can be just body weight. You don't have to go to the gym. So there's a lot of body weight exercises, but you need to have pressure on your bones. The strength, not only does it help your balance and helps your muscle tone, which will also help your metabolism, because muscle takes a lot more calories to maintain than fat does. So if you increase your muscle to fat ratio, that will really help your metabolism. But it also helps your bones keep their density, and you need pressure on your bones. So like swimming is a really good exercise for your muscles, but it doesn't do anything for your bones. So you need to either walk briskly or or jog or do body weight squats, or you can progress to weight resistant squats and things like that. But you need to have some kind of pressure on your bones to really keep them healthy. But strength is a really important thing for just doing everyday things like carrying groceries. And playing with your grandchildren, being able to pick up your grandchildren, put them on your shoulders, and those kinds of things. It's a lot of people think of people being 65 and older as being decrepit, and we that's not really That doesn't have to be that way. If you get active, even if you can't do the things right away, gradually you'll be able to. And it's all a matter of getting into good routines. So there's strength. There's also flexibility. Mobility is a really important aspect. You need to
Yeah.
keep your muscles limber. So there's like before and after workouts, there's certain kinds of stretches you should do and certain kinds of stretches you shouldn't do. And the timing is important. So if you're going to do so say you're going to go out for a run. So you should do dynamic stretching then, which is like more of a full range movement of your muscles. And if you do the static stretching where you have the muscle in the same place and you hold it for like 30 seconds, you do that after your workout when your muscles are already warmed up. If you do that before your workout, you might tighten the muscle and have more of a propensity for that muscle to be pulled or strained. So how you do the flexibility is really a really important thing. But do a warm up before you work out. And that could be something as simple as getting on an exercise bike or jogging in place, moving your arms around, some kind of semi-rapid movements to get your heart going higher. Because if your heart's going higher, your body's going to warm up. That makes your muscles warmer, and they makes your muscles more elastic, and they will handle the range better. Um, and getting back to the strength aspect, you need to have a full range of motion. I see a lot of people in the gym doing push-ups or pull-ups or whatever exercise that you're doing with a very limited motion. Try to do the
But
whole range
you
of
want the
whatever
whole
that
thing.
muscle is. Yes, that's it. So you're doing the whole range of it, not just doing like this. Yes, you can do more of them that way, but it doesn't do you very much good to do things really in a very limited motion. You want the complete range of motion because as we get older, we have more of a tendency for losing that range of motion. That's really important. So you also want to have, so we did strength, we did flexibility. You also want to work on your balance. And balance is a critical thing that we lose balance when we get older. And the standards for how we balance as we get older kind of go down. So standing on one foot, you should be able to stand on one foot, on either foot, both, you need to practice with both, uh, and put that your foot about 6 inches off the ground and hold it for about 30 seconds. Uh, if you can't do
I'm
that,
doing that
don't
as you're
do it.
talking about it right now.
Pardon?
So I'm doing it as you're talking about it. So we'll see how long I can go.
Yeah, okay. One thing that I did a video on was brushing your teeth because it has as you're doing this. So something you can do a daily routine that you're doing like 3 times a day, and you can also practice your balance at the same time. Because if you're using, particularly if you're using electric toothbrush, because it has a 30-second timer on it. So
Mhm.
as you are supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes at a time. So you do like your bottom row of teeth, and when that's done, you can switch your foot to do the top row of teeth like that, and and that can help. It becomes really important though when you do that, you're in a corner of a room, or you have a chair available, or something you can lean on if you do lose your balance. And surprisingly, if you close your eyes, it becomes exponentially more difficult. Um, and you might want to start by closing one eye because 30% of our balance is our proprioception, which is our body's awareness in space, is affected by our eyesight. So if you close your eyes, it becomes really much more difficult to do. Another exercise you can do, that's one without movement, but one with movement is you can put one foot directly in front of the other and you keep on doing that and you walk about 10, 15 feet or so, depending on how much room you have in your apartment or house, and a hallway is good. A hallway that has a kind of a narrow hallway, you can kind of go on one side. So if you lose your balance a little bit, you can put your elbow on it and you regain your balance. Just be safe in the whole process of going back and practicing your balance. But balance is really a critical thing to practice. And then the other aspect of there are basically four components of exercise. There's the strength, there's the flexibility, there's the balance, but then there's the cardio. And of course, cardio comes from cardiology. It's a part of the medical root for heart.
Right.
And that's a really important like your heart's your most important muscle, right? So if that stops, we're not going to continue very
It's
long,
been
right?
nice, right?
Your heart rate is a really good indicator of your fitness, but its heart rates are sort of complicated to explain because people say, well, what should my maximum heart rate be? What should my resting heart rate be? And it varies so much by individual that you have to find your own parameters, and that takes a little bit of time. I highly recommend some kind of heart rate monitor, and now there are all sorts of gadgets you can get. Watches are good. The most accurate are still the heart strap ones, and I'm so used to that. I've been wearing one for whenever they became affordable, like 30, 40 years ago, something like that. I wish I had them when I was a young man, better at 10Ks than I am now. But anyway, so because that'll give you an accurate reading of your own heart rate. And this is important for several reasons. The the formula that most people use is uh 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate. And that's a good place to start, but you kind of have to find your own. But there are five zones in heart rates. And the zone one is really too easy for most things. You're not getting your heart enough exercise. But zone two is where you should spend most of your time. That's where you should spend really about 80% of your time in zone two. And when you're first starting, it's okay to spend all your time in zone two, and that's about 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. And it's not as complicated as people might think at first. A really good way to find out what that is if and I highly recommend working out with a friend because it makes it more fun. You make it, or a group of friends that are about the same ability. Don't go with friends that are really fit unless they're willing to really slow down for you. Go with people that are about the same fitness so that you're not overstressing yourself when you're starting out. But if you can talk to them and have a conversation and it's a little bit difficult, that's the right stage for zone two. If you can sing, I'm not going to sing because I'm a horrible singer, but if you can sing, then it's too easy. So zone two is where you should stay most of the time. Zone three is where you should kind of stay away from zone three because it doesn't really do you a lot of good. It it it's where people race. Like if you're doing a triathlon or you're doing a longer distance, like a half marathon, that's where people race in zone two. So it's a good heart rate for people that are trying to be competitive in those sports. But it's not so good for training because it stresses you to the point where your recovery takes longer and the benefits are not really that very useful. Zone four, if you in zone four and zone five are like 80% in zone four, 90% in zone five of your maximum heart rate. Those are if you really want to be competitive. It's not really necessary for most people, but some people like to do a hit workout, and so they can keep track of it in that way. So I would say zone four, zone five is all out sprinting, and that's harder on your body. You can't really maintain that for very long. So
So we'll bring it back down to zone one and two.
yeah,
How
you
long,
want to stay in
how
zone
long
one and
should
two
the
most of the time,
workout
but
last?
not really one. I would say zone two. You want to push yourself a little bit, but it should be just slightly uncomfortable, but something you can continue and build up. If you're whatever it is, whatever your sport is, find something fun. Find some cardio that's fun. So you do it regularly, and you should do cardio probably 3 times a week, 4 times a week for build up to a half hour. You don't need much more than a half hour, but build up to it. If you're not there yet, do run walks. So you run for a minute or jog for a minute, and then you rest for a minute, and then you add a little bit more, and pretty soon you'll find your distance that you're able to continue running to be more. You could do the same thing biking. Biking is a little bit easier on your joints. Actually, it's very good for your knees. If you like to bicycle, it's very good for your knees. And it's a nice combination if you bike and run because your bicycling strengthens your knee joints, that help you prevent injuries and from running. So it's a really nice combination to do those two different things. And swimming
What's
is a great exercise because it's really getting all of your muscles, and it's your heart rate when swimming. It's kind of hard to measure. But your heart rate with swimming would actually be lower. And I hate to say this, swimming doesn't tend to burn as many calories for that reason. So if you're looking for calorie burning, swimming is a really good. I use it as, oh, I love to swim, so I do some hard workouts with swimming, but I also use it as recovery because it kind of loosens up your muscles. And that might be from a gym workout or whatever. It's good for that. But as far as calorie burning, it will burn less and fewer calories because your heart rate's not going as high because it's been cooled by the water. So when your heart rate goes up higher and your exercise, you're burning more calories because your metabolism is going up.
so what are some common errors that are made for people that have, whatever, they're 5 years, 10 years from any real exercise program that they've done, maybe when they were younger and they kids, work, whatever it happens to be, and now they haven't really done anything on an intentional level for say 10 years, and they're getting older, and now they say, well, geez, what's happening with my body, what's happening with my balance, what's happening with my stamina, and they want to start. What are some thoughts there?
Yeah, the biggest thing is learn how to listen to your body. That's why the heart rate monitoring is really, really so key. And if you couple that with some kind of wearable that will keep track of your sleep, that's a really good combination. That will also show heart rate variability, which shows your adaptability in your heart. And that's from some kind of sleep monitor will do that. But start out slowly. So if you haven't done exercise for a while, you're probably going to be very sore the next day. That's very normal. If I don't go to the gym for a while, and I do a lot, I'm sore the next day. But then don't go to the gym until that soreness goes away, because the biggest thing you want to avoid is injury, because that's going to keep you from a good routine. So it's getting into a regular routine. Doctors recommend that you exercise vigorously for about a half hour a day, like 5 days a week. Also, learn to listen to your body. Like if you're really tired, then you might need more recovery in between. So when I was younger, I used to say, okay, I'm going to do a good hard track workout for sprints twice this week, and I'm going to do it on Monday and Friday. I could schedule it. I can no longer do that. I have to say, okay, if I do a hard workout, I have to monitor my body to see how I feel. And before I do another hard workout, maybe I just need an easy stretching session. Um, do a lot of yoga type of activities, a lot of stretching, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. You're doing some really good stretching. Stretching really after a good workout. I don't always do that. I'm kind of guilty of doing that myself, not doing that myself. But when I do, I feel so much better. Just take things gradually, but don't neglect those four aspects. You can't neglect strength and flexibility and balance and cardio. You need all four of those in your routine throughout the week. So you keep a balanced body because you're looking at functional fitness. It's a plug for my company, functional fitness consulting. Anyway, um, if functional fitness is really important, so you want to be able to be independent. You want to be able to carry your own groceries. Grip strength. This is something really neglected, is understanding kind of how your body works, how your body strengthens, and how it recovers. Your muscles get the most blood. So your muscles are going to have the quickest strength progress. And that can be sort of um, something you need to watch anyway. Not really alarming, but something you need to watch because the next is your bones and then your ligaments and your tendons that get very little blood flow. So your strength is really depending on the strength of your tendons. So doing some exercises that really increase your tendon strength, like static positions, toe raises, but keeping uh, your your toes raised up and leaving it there, going down and leaving going down from your ankles and leaving it there. Exercising your tendons is really important, and for your strength, doing exercises with a grip and and
Like tennis ball or something,
yeah,
like
yeah,
squeeze
a
up
tennis
tennis ball.
ball. They have these. I can show you. Just a second here. These are really good. This is a this is a bar that is flexible that helps you exercise your tendons. A lot of people get like golfer's elbow if they do things too quickly. I got that myself trying to get so I could do a muscle up in the gym, and I was doing like explosive pull-ups, and I irritated my tendon in my arm doing having a grip. There's a grip there's a a test that doctors will give you that this is the biggest indicator of longevity is your grip strength. And so working on your grip strength uh, shows your overall health, and it's a really important aspect. So working on your grip, because if you squeeze your hand and you kind of look at your forearm, you'll see that your muscles are all engaged all the way down. So it's the tendon that is here on your elbow that is really governing all your fingers and making them work properly. So if you're doing like grip strength things, that really helps your arm strength, and your forearm strength is a sometimes a the weakest link in your strength. So working on exercises that strengthen your tendon is really a good thing as a preventative medicine for being able to keep going to the gym so you don't get injured and set yourself back. Um, uh, if you want to talk about like different kinds of equipment you might use.
Yeah,
Um,
let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll
Okay,
cut you
well,
loose at some point.
one thing that I highly recommend is a pull-up bar, and you can get them fairly inexpensively, and they make them really well, so you can put them in a doorway.
Hmm.
Um, Put it up as high as you can because you want to you want to be able to take your feet off the ground if you can. Um, and at first, you might not be able to do that, and that's okay. So then you could position it a little bit lower so you're able to touch the ground if you need to. But hanging really has great benefits. It is strengthening that grip strength
Even
and
though
that
you're not pulling up, you're
no,
just sitting there hanging.
so that pulling up is more of an advanced exercise, and it's I think that the average person in America can't do any more than one pull up if they can do that, and that's for men. So that's a more advanced thing. Pull ups are great. I love pull ups are one of my favorite exercises, but you have to build up to it, and you have to use a proper form for it. But just hanging will help increase your grip strength, and it also helps your tendon strength, and it also really helps you for decompressing your back. So you could start out by trying to hang for 15 seconds and then gradually build up to try to hang a minute. So if you do that first thing in the morning after getting out of bed, that your back should feel better. Now, if you do have any medical conditions or back conditions, certainly confer with your doctor before you do it to make sure it's okay. But if you don't have those kind of conditions, it just might be a stiff back from sitting too long or whatever. Hanging like that will really help. Um, Doing push-ups. Push-ups is a really underrated exercise because it really helps strengthen your muscles in your bones, your chest. It also helps your core. Your core is a very important thing to exercise because it is part of your balance. It's really what keeps us our posture. Also, hanging will help your posture because we tend to slump over when we're on our phones and when we're on a computer. We tend to slump over and not keep our posture good. One thing
Mhm.
of a good way of correcting your posture is to try to put your shoulder blades. Just think of your putting your shoulder blades together, and that immediately it opens your chest
Yeah.
and keeps your posture better. The more you go to the gym or the more you do these kinds of exercises, the better your posture will be, and the better you'll feel, and you look better too. When you see somebody walking upright, they look healthier. They
Mhm.
look better than people that are slouching down.
Wow. What a bunch of information, Mark. I can't thank you enough for all this. This is, I mean, I tend to always, when I'm speaking to baby boomers, I tend to always go financial, right? Because we're a reverse mortgage specialist and we look at the house as a part of your investment portfolio and all that kind of stuff. But this is a whole different way to keep yourself just fit and with the bring the sleep in and it all kind of intermingles with itself. I mean it's amazing stuff. I'm very very glad we had you on. I can't tell you thank you
Well,
enough.
I'm happy to be here. And if you think of it, if you're healthier, you're happier. And if you lose your independence, that's not a very positive way to live. It's very hard on you, not only physically but emotionally. It's hard to do. So your mood's better. You just feel better when you're fit and healthy.
Yeah, well, let our audience know how to get a hold of you because I think it's really important and hopefully people can ask questions and you can help them.
Okay, you can look me up on LinkedIn, and I also have a website. It's functionalfitnessconsulting.com. I have a email, Mark, Markaw at functionalfitnessconsulting.com. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from you.
Mark, I can't thank you enough again. The best of everything. If we can ever do anything to help, just let us know. We're a phone call away. Take care. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you.